Hi, this is Steve and welcome to my blog. This is just a little hobby thing for me really. It's not business advice. It's not legal, it's purely entertainment, and it's really just really for my ego because these things are a bit addictive. And like one of the guys I follow is just pointed out that trading's pretty boring. I mean, once you think you've got the handle on it, it is a bit boring, I must admit. Now, I want to just really give my opinion on what I think trading is. Now, before I start saying anything else, I know zip about trading. I came into this from the world of hypes, high yield interest programs, and really Ponzi schemes and pyramid selling and things like that. And as you can imagine, trading is the only thing I've got any money left in. I've got little bits and bobs in some of the programs still, but they'll disappear. This will never disappear. You know, these are backed by the big banks of the world, and if the big banks of the world goes out, I don't want to live in a world where where tinned food is currency. So this will never really go away. Not realistically in a really grown-up world. This will never go away. Don't like shares. Shares can go violently up and down. They can go down so low. Suddenly one day you switch it on, and the company's just gone. So it's just a waste of money. I don't like what do they call it? Trading on the pips. I forgot what it's called now. Spot market thing. I forgot. It'll come back to me in a minute what it is, but I forgot what it's called. But the Forex markets for the big currency pairs. That's what I'm into. That's what I like. Anyway, there's about 3 different sources of things that I know about that influence the markets of anything, of the big half a dozen currency pairs that I do. One is the news, if that comes up, but it don't come up soon as I'm recording it. One is events of the news that clearly have an effect on the market one way or another, and the big news events, which like this, the big news events that are coming up. And as you can see for tomorrow, there's not massive ones, but of course come Wednesday is the Article 50 business, and that is massive, and I'll come to that later, what I've been told about that. Another is the swing of the market itself. The second one is, now here's a good example, the Canadian dollar, where saying that I probably can't get the page up here. I don't usually use these normally. I use Etoro. The thing about Etoro is it's a wonderful system, but the charts are so slow. But let's see if I can get it up. I should have rehearsed all this, shouldn't have done it live. Trade markets. And this is the problem with Etoro, everything's so slow. Especially when you've loaded the board up with as many windows as I have. Come on. Alright, go to commodities. Somewhere down here is oil. Charts. I won't go through the whole rigmarole of it. Yes, it makes wonderful dead air, makes wonderful entertaining videos. It's not going to come up, is it? And of course now we're locked in a cycle and it's not going to come round. Here we go, come on, you can do it. Hooray! And the little I know about it is when one goes up, the other one goes down. So as oil goes down, it should be, if I get the right one. Oh, yeah, Canada goes up. The other reciprocal one is gold. When gold goes up, the yen goes down. And of course, if you trade the pairs off of, say, the Canadian dollar and the Australian dollar or the yen or anything like that, you can pick between it what you think. When one goes up, it's like a seesaw. When one goes up, the other one goes down. It's a bit more complicated than that, but that's the second one. And of course the third one, which I'm coming to term with, is the commitment to traders report, which is Andrew put me onto. This is a wonderful thing, and it shows the commercials, the large speculators, the small speculators. Small speculators, invariably they dismiss them. The commercials and the large speculators, they're ones you have to really take notice of. I can't remember which is which now, but I think it's the commercials. The one when one goes bearish and the other one goes bullish, that means there's going to be a jump in the market. Now these are pretty long term. I think if I remember rightly, these start out at the days and weeks. I mean, because I'm an amateur, I muck about with it on a lot smaller scale than that. I'll go down to like half an hour, which you're not supposed to do. The big professional boys don't do that. But you can see from things like energy, could see the oil and gas. Well, oil is, I think I usually go the Brent crude, to be honest, but as you can see, has the path of oil, what it's going to do in the future, has a knock-on effect. What the what's the word I'm looking for? The reciprocating effect of that comes through to the Canadian dollar a few hours later. So if you're clever, you can get in and figure out what's going to, what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. Now, I won't tell you about go into my opinion on Fibonacci retracement and moving averages and support and resistance levels, because I'm not expert enough in it. I've got my opinions on what it will do, but they're just my opinion, and I'm nowhere near expert enough. Of course, that wouldn't stop me from giving them a 2 pennies worth, but I think I'll save some of that to the big boys. I think if you can get my charts up, see, I do bother with some things. I do bother with the RSA and the some used to do the stochastics, but these things that they say, the more indicators you have on the chart, the more confused you're going to be. Moving averages, I have the 200 and I think one of the ones the 50 moving averages. But you know, the more things you have on the chart, I mean, I even have the parabolic SARs on here, but and everything. But it's pretty much guesswork where you think resistance and support's going to be, and where you think it's going to go. But it's a bit of a gamble when you're small time and you're amateur. It's a bit of a gamble. So who do I follow? Who are the big boys that I follow, that I do consider expert? Oh, that's handy, isn't it? Here we go. Of course, I've forgotten all the names, but the Duma Initiative, he's a good guy to follow. I like him. Easy to understand. If we go there, I think this guy's name is Andrew. The what's it called? FX Info Service, whatever it's called. Here, of course, they all run services that you've got to pay for. But remember that. But this is the one I trust the most, actually. The one I like the most, one of the first ones, and the one that commitment to traders thing. The one I understand the easiest, and the one I like. This other guy says, this guy here. Of course, I've got so many windows open. There's a delay on this now. Let's close some of these down as I go down. It might help. Rainer Teo, he's easy to understand. Quite an easy guy to follow. I like him. I've forgotten his name now. Yeah, the Traders Corner. This guy and his brother. He's good. I like him. And Alki Stokes is the professional traders. They have trading service and all that. I think it's about £70 a month to pay into this. Way out of my league. And but good. The advice is good. And the next one, if it behaves itself. which it's not doing at the moment. This guy's name's Tom Allison, I think his name is, and he's one of the first ones to get, and he's very rarely wrong. It's a bit big and sweeping. It's looking over in a matter of weeks, but he's very rarely wrong. And that's the sort of advice. That's how I've learned Forex trading, is following people like that. There's a few more, but yeah, it does get a bit confusing after a while if you have too many advisors on it and things like that. But they're the ones I try to check out every 2 or 3 days. Some of them they only post every couple of days, at least every 3 days. Some of them only do it once a week, which is enough. It's all the only information you really need. But I think it's reading between the lines. I think it's one of those things where you've got to teach yourself. If there's only certain things you can learn, the rest of it you've got to really pick it up yourself. You can't really teach these things. It's up to you whether you're going to learn it or not. I'm very small time here, and I make some real hideous mistakes, especially when it comes to let's see, I'll get my thing up here. There's the leverage and how much leverage you put on a thing. I only use 25% leverage now. Don't go 50%. Certainly don't go 100%. I just lost a lot of money with 50% leverage, where I made a big mistake on the euro pound euro cable, and it's a bad mistake. We're pumping more money. Yeah, when we start pumping good money to save bad money, that's, they all say that's an amateur thing. How many amateurs do that? Amateurs feed the market with their stupidity, and sure enough, that's what I did. Fed it, but I had to take my courage in my hand and say, well, that's it, that's the end of that. It's not going to come up now, me saying that. So what do I think they can end up? Well, everybody says it's about to go down. They say if they save the oil trade and it goes up, this will go down. So like I said, this is just my opinion. It's just really to massage my ego. It's certainly not, it's not any advice in any way, but this is what I'm into, and to be honest, it's the only game in town. So as they say, I'll see you in the future.